I have a message for you all from Archangel Michael. Here are 5 things that you must do now to prepare for cosmic assistance. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I help people to navigate their spiritual awakening so they can stay on a conscious path of ascension. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you catch all my videos to support you in your spiritual awakening. Okay, you guys, so this is going to be a very unusual video. I had a conversation with Archangel Michael, and for those of you who don't know, I am a full body channel. I do channel Archangel Michael and 5 other beings who together refer to themselves as Telstar, and I am also able to see and talk to them and hear them interdimensionally and have just regular conversations with them the same way that I would with you guys. So a few days ago, Archangel Michael was letting me know that there were some things that he wanted you guys to know, and he is going to come and talk to you directly in a channeled way at some point here, hopefully in the not too distant future. But in the meantime, he wanted me to share 5 things with you guys that you need to start thinking about. And this is really in preparation for us to be able to receive the cosmic assistance that we really need. Because we need to make some profound shifts in our consciousness in order to align with those cosmic forces that are here to help us so that we can co-create the solutions on this planet that are so desperately needed right now. So this is going to be really interesting because the way that I got this information is Archangel Michael actually, it's kind of almost like taking dictation. It was different from automatic writing. I can do automatic writing too, but this is a little bit different. I literally wrote down what he wanted me to tell you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually read to you what he wants you to know. So it's completely accurate and exactly as he wanted you to understand it. Now, I want you to think about this as just an initial preparation. This is not like every single thing you need to know, but this is the beginning of starting to make shifts in our understanding of our predicament here on this planet. We really need to go through some major paradigm shifts to set a foundation so that we can receive even more information that we really need to know in order to be able to partner with our cosmic counterparts, I guess. He basically told me that what we need is we need a much more accurate alignment with reality. Reality, let's say in all capital letters. And that's what we need to start to do right now. So I'm going to read to you these 5 things that he told me he wants you guys to be aware of. So here is the first thing. The first thing is realize that the story you're being told on this planet is not the story that matters. Now that's very interesting, isn't it? So then he follows out with, you are being fed a daily false narrative from the media, education, politics, and religion. Therefore, you believe that this is your primary reality. It is not. By constantly feeding you this false narrative from birth, they literally enlist you as a creator to co-create the very thing they're talking about. You need to understand that no one is giving you the true story about what your ascension really means. The real story that you are in the middle of right now is ascension. The rest of it is irrelevant. That's fascinating, isn't it? Okay, now the second thing that he wants you to do is this. Tune into your cosmic common sense to uncover what the actual story really is. And then he says, and this is coming from Archangel Michael, allow me to help you in doing that. Meaning Archangel Michael. Allow him to help us in doing that. So continuing on, the actual story is a far, far cry from what you've been told. The actual story goes back to before the beginning of time. Now, he had me capitalize the word actual when I was typing this out, okay? The actual story begins from a place where timelines do not exist. You are unable to comprehend that beginning because you are completely caught up in a belief in time as being the foundation for your reality. In order to open your mind to understanding the actual story, you need to connect with your divine heart. Your heart already knows the truth. Your heart exists in the place that is before time itself. So you, my beloved human being, are also connected to that place as well. The actual story exists in the timeless place from which all creation emerges. It begins in love. Most people think they need to die in order to connect with this reality. I can assure you that nothing is further from the truth. The reality of which I speak knows only life. There is no death there. So the second thing you need to do is to listen. And I mean listen without fear to what your heart is telling you. The fake story has you so distracted that you are unable to connect with the truth of what your heart has to share with you. The reason you find it so difficult to connect is because your mind insists that you must incorporate the fake story with the real one. That is so interesting, guys. And that is your chief downfall. The degree to which you are able to set the fake story aside is the degree to which the entire universe of truth will begin to open up to you. Now, here's the third thing from Archangel Michael. Stop begging for help out of fear. You do not need to beg. The powers that are here to support you already know what you need. We are by no means passive in our efforts, but we are limited by your own limited perception of yourselves. If you behave as a frightened victim who has no power, then how do you expect us to respond to that? The only possible response is to agree with you because you have deemed it to be so. We will always honor your chosen perception of self because that is your sovereign right. If you believe yourself to be a helpless victim, it's only because that's the role you were convinced to play in the fake story you were told and then adopted. Now think of this. Everything in nature exists as a co-creative act between various forces of nature. You are currently engaged with forces of lies and delusion. This is why you are oriented in a false, fake story about who you really are. So those of us of the light cannot co-create with such a discrepancy. The best we can do is to try and comfort you and support you in navigating through your false illusion. But that act, as loving as it may be, is no longer sufficient. Something more is required of you in terms of your consciousness. So the third thing you must do is to stop looking for a savior. You have used the concept of a savior to exempt yourselves from the level of evolution necessary to ascend into a higher state of existence. Stop and look at your situation for a moment. Why would a savior wait around and watch you suffer for millennia? Why would a savior sit back and take his or her time while you go through multiple lifetimes of desperation? That's no savior, my friends. But you have chosen to believe this even though it makes no sense. The reason you continue to beg for help is because you still believe that there is this elusive savior in charge of your much-needed rescue. But the belief that you need to be rescued is still part of the fake story that keeps you trapped. You do not need to be rescued. What you need is to return to the truth of your power. What you need is to function as a viable co-creator of the solution to a much bigger issue. And here is number 4 of Archangel Michael's advice to all of us. You need to shed the false belief that being human consists of holding within you the polarities of darkness and light. This is perhaps your most difficult task because you are rather addicted to this falsehood. You are addicted to the belief that being human means to have good and bad existing within you at all times. Your basis for belief in this falsehood is this. You observe that this duality is there, so you thus assume that it's supposed to be there. But everything in you tells you that this is not true. Yet you continue to believe it because you have so effectively rationalized the pain of living with darkness and light as some sort of spiritual path. Pain is a sign that something is wrong. Pain is a sign that something needs correcting and is out of alignment with the truth of any creation. Pain is not a natural part of being human. Pain is debilitating and distracting. It is by no means a spiritual path. There are those who benefit greatly from your spiritual belief in pain and suffering. I can assure you that they laugh at your stupidity in this regard. But those of us who truly care are not laughing at all. We are wondering how much longer you will wait to truly wake up. We are wondering how long it will take for you to finally listen once and for all to your beloved heart. It is by no means necessary or required to accept the fate of living in a painful state of trying to incorporate darkness and light. Your body knows the difference, and so do your mind and emotions. Your entire being rejects the experience of pain and suffering. You naturally want no part of it. And your entire being welcomes and embraces the experience of love and happiness. You want it to go on forever. These are clear and unequivocal signs of your higher intelligence. This is a clear and blazing answer. You already know what should be and what should not be. The question is, are you listening? And are you taking yourself seriously? And here's number 5 of what Archangel Michael wants us to know. Understand the true purpose of ego. The true purpose of ego is to keep you anchored in a false reality. The ego is an alternate identity whose job it is to help you navigate an impossible situation filled with lies and illusions. Do you recognize that with the ego, you are not whole? With the ego, you live in a perpetual state of duality when it comes to your experience of self. The ego will never be erased until the final remedy of eliminating the source of fear is fully enacted on a planetary scale. Right now, you need the ego. It manifests as an alternate form of self is in quotes, that allows you to believe that this dream of duality is real. The ego has a voice. It's the voice in your head that continues to talk to you nonstop, day and night. It's the internal chatter that never turns off. Would you like to know why it can't turn off? Because it must continue to inform you about what is happening in the dream. The ego is also the voice of confusion. It is perpetually confused due to the fact that darkness and light can never be reconciled. So the ego rarely, if ever, has answers. The ego exists as an imposter self that keeps you feeling fragmented and confused about who you really are. The ego is the voice of doubt, fear, and judgment. And it demands that you incorporate its voice into every single decision. For now, all you need to do is observe it. Realize that it is a shadow self that serves to block the light of your eternal being. And those are the 5 things that Archangel Michael wants us to know and to do in order to prepare for the cosmic assistance that we all truly need on this planetary Earth. So in case you guys want to review any of those 5 points, I'm going to put the time markers in the description below so that you can go to any one of the 5 just by clicking on that time. Now, I want to be clear about something that Archangel Michael was very clear with me about regarding these 5 points. He is not saying that this is everything you need to know. This is not intended to be some kind of linear knowledge progression. So basically, he's saying if you contemplate these 5 things in the way that he's suggested it, in the way that he's talking about it, you can begin to shift your consciousness to a different level of understanding. So this is really about the beginning of setting up a foundation. So I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions that come out of this. This is not meant to be the whole answer to every single thing we need to know. And he will be coming to speak to you guys, obviously in a channeled format, maybe on camera one of these days. We'll see. Right now I've been doing audio recordings in my channelings, but I think I'll probably do it on camera one of these days as well. So I want to conclude by saying I think we're all very aware that our situation on this earth is extremely serious. And I so welcome everything that Archangel Michael has to share with us, because I feel that he is so serious about really getting us focused on exactly what we need to shift in our consciousness to go to the level of experience and understanding that we need to be at, so that we're not just confused and all over the place and trying to piece together all these different things. And, like it's a big puzzle that, you get information from all these different sources and you're trying to put it together and figure out, what in the world do I really need to know? How does this all fit together? He's really serious, you guys. He's very, very serious about helping us to just get very clear by going within and contemplating these 5 things as a beginning. Remember, this is just a beginning, okay? So this gives you guys something to do. And again, if this brings up a whole lot of questions, don't worry about it. It's okay to have those questions. The whole point is, just by considering what he's talking about and really contemplating it and going deep, it's going to start to shift our understanding and bring us to a much higher level of consciousness, which is where we all need to be. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else that you know who might benefit from this understanding. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss whatever video is coming up whenever Archangel Michael comes back to speak to us all himself. And with that, I'm sending you all loads of love, light, and positive energy. I will see you guys in the next video. Namaste, everyone.